This week, we're uncovering the truth about rising foreclosures, so stay tuned. Welcome to another local market update with Rick Batista. Welcome to the last weekly market update of April 2023. So many things are happening in the economy right now. That's why we're committed to bringing you weekly market updates versus monthly. Things are just happening so quickly. And today's video discusses both national and local data. The local data we'll be sharing in just a bit is for all of Chicago proper, the 77 areas of Chicago. And although we do service all of Chicagoland and the Burbs, later on in the video, we'll only be diving into the city's data. So let's get started with a fun fact, and then we'll share some other info and insights with you. Fun facts, market time. Baby boomers, people ages 58 to 76, now make up the largest share of buyers and sellers nationwide according to the National Association of Realtors 2023 Home Buyers and Sellers Generational Trends Report. Okay, boomer. Baby boomers represented 53% of sellers and 39% of buyers in transactions that occurred between July 2021 and June 2022. Millennials, once the leading share of home buyers, came in second place, accounting for 28% of buyers according to the report. So although many industries tend to focus and target a younger demographic, we realtors can certainly appreciate older folks. So thank you very much. Now let's talk about headlines. Oftentimes, not every time, headlines technically may be accurate. However, it may paint a very different picture than the story behind or beyond the headline. I'm sure this happens by design. That's why it's so important to read the whole article and review data from more than one source. Now, something that's been on everyone's minds, foreclosures. Everyone has anticipated there to be a flood of foreclosures like we saw after the bubble that burst about 15 years ago. And I like to point out and remind you that many often toss out the year 2008, but believe me, it didn't just happen that year. The tents for that whole circus started getting set up in 2006 with all the no-doc loans and the fun stuff that was going on in the mortgage industry especially. Those of us with experience and industry knowledge definitely saw it coming. But back to modern times, on April 19th, foreclosure info came out from Adam. Adam is a provider of property and real estate data, and it's really hard to compare the market in general to the pandemic years because things were just so out of control in so many markets across the country. But especially when we're looking at foreclosures, we really need to look at 2017, 18, and 19 for more normal years for a clear comparison and perspective. So let's take a look at these slides here. There's been over 1 million fewer foreclosures in the last 3 years. This is U.S. properties with foreclosure filings, looking back at 2017, 18, and 19, just before the pandemic hit at least here in the States in March of 2020. That started the moratorium here where, although there may have been filings, I'm sure there were some cases where foreclosures were actually happening, but if any, but a huge drop off in 2020 and 2021 and 2022 when things started to clear up a little bit as far as COVID goes. That was certainly on the rise and it was bound to go up. So all the headlines, saying that numbers were doubling, et cetera, well, no duh. It was bound to happen. So all of the headlines were, in essence, I don't know if they were trying, and I can't speak to their intent, but they certainly were scaring quite a few people and making us believe that we were entering a bubble in a chaotic situation yet again. But you see here in 2022, just last year, we were just over 324,000 foreclosure filings. So although it was more than twice of 2021, still much lower than the normal years pre-pandemic, considerably less than 2019 and far less than 2018 and 2017. And we go back all the way to 2005. Take a look at this chart here. Certainly going on the rise as the bubble was starting to be formed, and then it popped in 2008. 9 and 10, you see the peak there, plenty of foreclosure filings, and then things started to settle down and numbers started to come down all the way to Q1 of 2023. Although that line's been going up since Q3 of 2020, certainly nowhere near where we've been in the past as far as foreclosure filings. So the headline from Adam here that we popped up on the screen a few moments ago, U.S. foreclosure activity continues to climb in Q1 2023. And so here are some of the facts. There were a total of 95,712 U.S. properties with foreclosure filings during the first quarter of 2023. A total of 65,346 U.S. properties started the foreclosure process in that same time frame. And nationwide, 1 in every 1,459 housing units had a foreclosure filing in the first quarter of this year. Lenders ended up repossessing 12,518 U.S. properties through foreclosure REO in the first quarter of this year. So certainly not an ideal situation for anyone to be in. That is a situation that we are well versed in and can certainly help people out if they are in a foreclosure, short sale, or close to being foreclosed on situation. So if you know anybody in that situation, or if you yourself are in that situation, feel free to reach out. We can have a conversation, see how we can be of help and assistance. But again, looking at the numbers overall across the country, it is a very unfortunate situation for those households who have to go through that, but it is not at catastrophic levels, so nothing to be concerned about at this point in time. Obviously can't predict the future, but right now things are pretty tame. And we take a look at the, I think it's pretty much the same chart that we saw, the line graph. This is U.S. properties for foreclosure filings per year, looking from 2005 through 2022. The darker red lines here are over 1 million. Taking a look at last year, 2022, we were just at over 324,000. So again, nowhere near where we were leading up to that bubble popping and the years thereafter. And here's a quote from Ron Barber, the CEO of Adam. Despite efforts by governmental agencies and policymakers to try and reduce foreclosure rates, we are seeing an upward trend in foreclosure activity. This unfortunate trend can be attributed to a variety of factors, such as rising unemployment rates, foreclosure filings making their way through the pipeline after 2 years of government intervention, and other ongoing economic challenges. And like we said at the start of the video, a lot of things going on in the economy, certainly impacting everyone in many industries, if not all. And that's why we're here to bring you information on a weekly basis so that you can stay on top of the market with us and see what's going on, and hopefully give you a glimmer of hope beyond the doom and gloom of the headlines that we tend to see, especially for the national news and mainstream media. Claire Trapasso, the executive news editor at Realtor.com, had this to say: "There's no reason to panic, at least not yet. Foreclosure filings began ticking up in late 2021 after the federal foreclosure moratorium ended. The moratorium was enacted in the early days of COVID-19 when millions of Americans lost their jobs to prevent a tsunami of homeowners losing their properties." Now that we've covered that cheerful news, it's time to wake up to the moment you've been waiting for. This information and data is provided by the Chicago Association of Realtors. It is covering the week ending April 15th, 2023, and current as of yesterday, April 24th. From fun facts, we go over to quick facts. With this data, we are looking at year-over-year changes, and this is for residential property only. New listings, detached properties, was down by 3.2%, while the attached being condos and townhomes, down by 10.9%. Under contract, detached down by 9.4%, while the attached, which certainly we've been seeing some struggling here going on, down by nearly 40%. Homes for sale, again, I think this is the second week in a row where we've been in the red for detached, down by 3.1%. Need more inventory, folks, especially in the attached market here, down by 33.2% year over year. And we've talked about this in other videos, and we've covered this in some of our social media, posts. Single family homes, for most people, to enter home ownership, but if you want to start building equity, something that is your own, condos may not be your first choice, but it certainly is a way to get your foot in the door as far as home ownership, start building yourself some equity, and get yourself prepared for your next move, a bigger move in buying a single family home. So certainly something to consider. We'll dive a little bit deeper beyond those numbers there. New listings, we wrapped up the week of April 15th with 331 detached single family homes, bringing us a 3-month average of 296, down by 17.4% year over year. The attached saw 620 with a 3-month average of 486, down by 35.6%. Under contract, we finished the week of April 15th with 222 detached single-family homes, bringing us the 3-month average of 194 and down by nearly 20% year over year. And the attached market, 343, 3-month average of 328, down by 35.2%. And inventory of homes for sale, we wrapped up the week of April 15th with 2,029 detached single-family homes with a 3-month average of 2,294, up by nearly 12%, while the attached market saw 2,939 homes with a 3-month average of 3,113, down by 26.5%. So, what does all this information mean for you? Heck if I know. All depends on what's going on with you and your household. Let's start a conversation and see how we can help you make the most informed decisions. If you'd like copies of any of the reports or slides that we shared with you in this video or any of our recent videos, feel free to reach out. You can call, text, or email. My contact info is below. And remember, love and money may come and go, but time is something we never get back. So thank you so much for sharing some of your time with me. I really appreciate you. If you want to stay on top of the market with us, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll catch you next week.